Ghost Train to Nowhere. One-way ticket to terror scary story published by Scare Fiction. Chapter 1. Boarding the Shadows. The rumble of the approaching train vibrated through Clara's boots, each tremor intensifying the knot of unease in her stomach. Night trains rarely filled her with dread, but the desolate platform, bathed in the sickly glow of a lone lamppost, exuded an unsettling loneliness. The train itself, a hulking silhouette against the inky sky, seemed less like a mode of transport and more like a portal to the unknown. Her unease intensified as she boarded. The single carriage, dimly lit by flickering gas lamps, stretched before her, its plush red seats yawning emptily. The silence was thick, broken only by the rhythmic creak of the train settling on the tracks and the distant wail of a locomotive in the distance. Every shadow danced grotesquely in the flickering light, morphing into unseen shapes that pricked at the edges of her vision. A shiver ran down her spine as a figure emerged from the gloom at the far end of the carriage. The conductor, tall and gaunt, moved with an unnatural stillness. His uniform, once pristine, hung loosely on his skeletal frame, the brass buttons dulled with tarnish. His eyes, pools of obsidian under bushy brows, seemed to pierce through her, sending another jolt of apprehension through her. "Ticket," he rasped, his voice like dry leaves scraping against gravel. He held out a skeletal hand, his fingers long and spidery. Clara fumbled in her bag, the silence stretching taut between them. "Where am I heading?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The conductor's thin lips stretched into a humorless smile. "Nowhere you recognize, miss. Nowhere you wish to recognize." He scrutinized her ticket, his gaze lingering on the embossed inscription Midnight Express destination, unknown. "But this wasn't the route I booked," Clara stammered, a tremor creeping into her voice. "This train wasn't even listed on the timetable." The conductor chuckled, a dry, hollow sound. "Timetables matter little on this journey, miss. They are mere illusions for the unprepared." He returned the ticket with a flourish, the paper turning icy cold in her touch. The train lurched forward with a jolt, throwing Clara off balance. Outside, the familiar cityscape had vanished, replaced by an endless expanse of darkness, broken only by the occasional flicker of distant lights. Panic gnawed at her. Where was she going? Where were the other passengers? Then she saw it. A faint inscription etched on the windowpane, barely visible in the dim light. "Beware the shadows, they hold secrets best left unseen." Fear, cold and clammy, settled in her stomach, turning her limbs to lead. As the train sped into the night, the silence seemed to press in closer, broken only by the rhythmic clickety-clack of the wheels and the ever-present creaking of the carriage. The unsettling shadows took on grotesque shapes, whispering forgotten warnings in the flickering lamplight. The conductor, a silent harbinger of dread, vanished into the gloom, leaving Clara alone with her gnawing fear and the chilling inscription on the windowpane. This was no ordinary night train. This was a journey into the shadows, and the secrets they held threatened to consume her whole. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Darkness. Claire huddled deeper into her seat, the inscription on the windowpane searing into her memory. The rhythmic clickety-clack of the wheels had morphed into a frantic heartbeat, mirroring the hammering in her chest. Every creak of the carriage, every flicker of the lights, sent shivers down her spine. As the night wore on, the darkness seemed to writhe with unseen life. Shapes danced in the periphery of her vision, morphing from harmless shadows to grotesque figures with unseen eyes. Whispers, like dry leaves brushing against bone, began to echo through the corridor, weaving between the carriages, carrying fragments of forgotten prayers and chilling laughter. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream shattered the tense silence. It clawed its way through the darkness, raw and desperate, then abruptly cut off. Panic surged through Claire, icy tendrils creeping down her limbs. What had happened? Where had this scream come from? Summoning all her courage, she rose and cautiously ventured down the narrow corridor. The flickering gas lamps cast long, distorted shadows, stretching across the red plush seats like grasping claws. The carriage, once empty, now held 3 figures. One, a woman swathed in black lace, sat frozen in her seat, her eyes wide with terror. Another, a weathered man with salt and pepper hair, clutched a worn photograph, his face etched with despair. The last, a young boy with tear-stained cheeks, huddled in the corner, his whimpers echoing the chilling silence. "What happened?" Clara whispered, her voice trembling. The woman in black spoke first, her voice hoarse with fear. He just vanished. One moment he was there, the next." She trailed off, tears welling up in her eyes. The man, clutching the photograph tighter, mumbled something about shadows and voices, his words lost in the growing hysteria. As they exchanged fragmented stories, fear coalesced into a chilling truth. Each passenger harbored a dark secret, a reason for boarding this spectral train. The woman sought refuge from a haunting past, the man chased by the ghosts of his failures, and the boy lost in the grief of a recent tragedy. But their individual burdens paled in comparison to the collective terror that now gripped them. With each passing hour, another scream would pierce the silence, followed by an unsettling quiet. Passengers vanished without a trace, leaving behind only chilling memories and deepening paranoia. One night, huddled around a flickering lamp, the remaining passengers pieced together fragments of the train's history. Whispers spoke of a tragic derailment, claiming countless lives, and of restless spirits forever bound to the steel behemoth. They spoke of a conductor, a harbinger of doom, collecting lost souls for an eternity of spectral travel. As they shared their stories, a new fear blossomed, the chilling possibility that they were not passengers, but prisoners, doomed to endlessly relive their nightmares, their screams echoing through the corridors, fueling the train's spectral engine. Despair threatened to consume them, but a spark of defiance flickered in Clara's eyes. "We can't give in," she declared, her voice gaining strength. "There must be a way to stop this, to escape this purgatory." Her words, though shaky, resonated with the others. A fragile hope, fueled by desperation, flickered amongst them. They decided to work together, using their individual strengths to unravel the train's secrets and find a way to break free. But before they could take their first step, another scream ripped through the night. This time, it was closer, more desperate. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, carrying a single chilling name, Clara. The shadows seemed to press in closer, their whispers morphing into taunts, promising an eternity of darkness. Fear gnawed at her, but Clara stood her ground. The night train held secrets, a connection to a tragic past, and within those secrets lay their only hope for escape. But the cost of unearthing those secrets might be higher than anyone could imagine. Chapter 3: Unveiling the Past. Driven by a desperate hope, Claire and the remaining passengers embarked on a perilous quest to delve into the train's hidden depths and unearth the secrets buried within. Guided by whispered rumors and fleeting shadows, they explored dusty compartments, their hearts pounding with each creak and groan of the aging carriage. In a hidden compartment, they stumbled upon a forgotten journal, its pages brittle with age and stained with tears. Each faded entry spoke of a fateful journey, a train derailed by negligence and greed, claiming countless lives in a fiery inferno. The conductor, a man named Matthias, emerged as the villain, sacrificing lives for his own twisted profit. But a chilling revelation awaited them. Matthias was condemned to forever relive the tragedy, bound to the spectral train as its conductor, collecting new souls to appease the restless spirits. As they delved deeper, the passengers grappled with their own past sins and regrets. The woman in black, revealed as a wealthy socialite, had once abandoned her child in pursuit of fortune. The haunted man, a renowned surgeon, carried the burden of an accidental death during a risky operation. The young boy, still grieving his deceased brother, blamed himself for their final argument. Each passenger, bound by their dark past, became another thread in the spectral tapestry woven by the conductor's greed. Then came the spectral manifestations. As the night deepened, echoes of the past tragedy materialized. Ghostly screams echoed through the corridors. Flames flickered on unseen walls, and chilling figures reached out from the shadows. They relived the horror of the crash, the screams of the dying, the conductor's chilling laughter. Each phantom encounter forced them to confront their own guilt and despair, threatening to pull them into the abyss of the past. Amidst the mounting terror, Clara clung to the journal's final entry, a glimmer of hope amidst the despair. It spoke of a hidden lever, a fail-safe mechanism built by a remorseful engineer, offering a chance to sever the conductor's control and break the cycle of suffering. But finding the lever would require venturing into the heart of the conductor's domain, the engine room. A place reeking of oil and burning metal, rumored to be haunted by the most tormented souls. Faced with a terrifying choice, the passengers were divided. The woman in black, consumed by guilt, argued for surrender, believing they deserved their spectral fate. The man, hardened by despair, advocated for a reckless attack fueled by vengeance. Claire, however, saw a different path. She proposed using their shared experiences, their understanding of the tragedy, and their own burdens to confront the conductor and appeal to his buried humanity. This risky plan, built on empathy and forgiveness, sparked a flicker of hope in the others. And so they prepared. The woman in black confessed her past, seeking the ghost of her abandoned child for forgiveness. The man offered his skills to heal the injured spirits haunting the train. The boy, channeling his grief, wrote letters of apology to his deceased brother, hoping to ease the restless souls. With a mixture of trepidation and resolve, they ventured into the engine room, a monstrous heart of steel and fire. There, shrouded in shadows, stood the conductor, his spectral form flickering with malice. As Clara stepped forward, the others stood by, ready to support her plea. She spoke of their shared pain, of the tragedy that bound them, and of the chance for redemption. Her words, infused with their collective experiences, resonated through the darkness. The conductor, his form wavering, seemed to flicker with a flicker of recognition, a spark of the man he once was. Then, a choice. The conductor presented Clara with a lever, its power both destructive and liberating. But the choice came with a chilling caveat: only one soul could escape the train, leaving the others trapped forever. The weight of the decision crushed Clara. Could she condemn others to save herself? Would she succumb to the darkness, or find the strength to break the cycle? The answer, dear reader, hangs in the balance, awaiting the next chapter of this spectral journey. Chapter 4: Alliances and Betrayals. Conductor's cryptic offer hung heavy in the air, fracturing the fragile solidarity forged by the passengers. Trust, already eroded by fear and desperation, shattered completely. Accusations flew, fueled by paranoia and hidden agendas. The woman in black accused the man of hoarding a secret escape route. The man suspected the boy of being a pawn of the conductor, and Clara, caught in the maelstrom, questioned everyone's motives. Forced alliances emerged, driven by the immediate need for survival. Clara, the voice of reason, joined forces with the boy, hoping his innocence could shield them from suspicion. The woman in black, fueled by self-preservation, reluctantly teamed with the man, his surgical skills potentially valuable in the coming confrontation. With each passing hour, the train's spectral grip tightened. Grotesque apparitions tormented them, whispering secrets and amplifying their suspicions. Sleep became a luxury they couldn't afford, every dream haunted by whispers of betrayal and accusations. Their desperate plan to overload the engine and force the train to stop required venturing into the conductor's domain once more. This time, however, their purpose wasn't reconciliation, but sabotage. The weight of their potential betrayal gnawed at Clara, but the alternative, succumbing to the train's eternal torment, was unthinkable. As they infiltrated the engine room, tensions reached a boiling point. The man, consumed by his own desire for escape, attempted to activate the fail-safe lever himself, jeopardizing their fragile alliance. His attempt failed, exposing a shocking truth. The lever was a mere illusion, another cruel game by the conductor. Chaos erupted. Accusations spiraled into physical altercations, revealing the true depths of their desperation. The woman in black, consumed by guilt and regret, confessed her plan to use the boy as a distraction, allowing her and the man to escape. The boy, heartbroken by the betrayal, unleashed a torrent of spectral energy, attracting the conductor's wrath. In the ensuing confrontation, alliances crumbled like sandcastles in the tide. The conductor, enraged by their defiance, unleashed a wave of spectral power, threatening to consume them all. But amidst the chaos, an unexpected twist arrived. The woman in black, realizing the error of her ways, shielded the boy, taking the brunt of the conductor's attack. Her sacrifice served as a catalyst. The boy, channeling his grief and anger, unleashed a wave of energy that resonated with the restless spirits trapped within the train. Memories, both joyful and sorrowful, flooded the spectral passengers, reminding them of their lives before the tragedy. Shame and regret mingled with forgiveness and acceptance, weakening the conductor's hold. Taking advantage of the vulnerability, Clara and the man combined their strength, activating a hidden failsafe that the conductor, in his twisted way, had kept as a backup. The train screeched to a halt, jolting them all back to the realm of the living. But the escape came at a heavy price. The woman in black remained tethered to the spectral realm, her sacrifice granting them freedom. The man, broken by the weight of his past and the woman's death, vanished into the night, his fate unknown. Claire and the boy emerged from the wreckage, forever marked by their journey. The weight of betrayal, grief, and sacrifice lingered, etched onto their souls. Yet, they had survived, carrying the memory of the woman in black and a newfound understanding of the power of empathy and forgiveness. Their journey, however, was far from over. The true mastermind behind the tragedy, rumored to be alive, remained at large. With a newfound resolve, Clara and the boy vowed to expose the truth, carrying the memory of their companions and the weight of their experiences as they ventured into the uncertain world beyond the spectral train. What awaits them, dear reader, is yet to be revealed. But one thing is certain, their journey has forever changed them, shaping them into figures destined to confront the darkness and seek redemption for the countless souls trapped within the shadows. Chapter 5. Trapped in Time. The screech of metal grinding on metal jolted Clara awake. Disoriented, she found herself back in the same plush seat, the same flickering gas lamp illuminating the eerily empty carriage. A sickening sense of déjà vu washed over her, the memories of the harrowing escape and the woman's sacrifice flooding back. Panic clawed at her throat as a chilling realization dawned. The train was trapped in a temporal loop, reliving the tragedy and its consequences over and over. Despair gnawed at her as the loop repeated. The same screams, the same encounters, the same desperate scramble for survival. Each iteration chipped away at her sanity, blurring the lines between reality and the spectral nightmare. Doubts gnawed at her mind. Was she truly escaping, or simply reliving a fabricated memory? Yet, amidst the despair, a flicker of hope remained. The boy, haunted by his brother's death and strengthened by the woman's sacrifice, clung to the belief that each loop offered a chance to confront their fears, to break the cycle of guilt and regret that bound them. Fueled by this flicker, they began to break the loop's monotony. They explored hidden compartments, searching for clues, their desperation sharpening their senses. They confronted their individual demons, the boy facing his grief, Clara battling the gnawing doubt about their reality. One loop, they discovered a hidden journal, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and warnings. It spoke of a temporal anchor, an artifact capable of breaking the cycle. Hope surged through them, a beacon in the darkness. The next loop, armed with renewed purpose, they ventured deeper, guided by the journal's cryptic clues. They faced terrifying spectral manifestations, their resilience tested with each iteration. Finally, in a hidden chamber beneath the train, they found a shimmering locket pulsating with an ethereal glow. But as they reached for it, the conductor materialized. He revealed the truth: the loop wasn't a prison, but a test. A twisted experiment to break their spirits, to force them to relive their failures and succumb to despair. The final confrontation was brutal, a desperate fight against the conductor's spectral power. Clara, using the lessons learned in each loop, channeled the strength of the woman's sacrifice and the boy's unwavering hope. She fought not just for herself, but for all trapped within the spectral train, for the woman who gave her freedom and the boy who reminded her of the power of resilience. In the ultimate act of defiance, she combined her strength with the boy's and the locket's power, shattering the temporal loop. The train lurched, the spectral realm dissolving around them, replaced by the harsh light of dawn. Exhausted but exhilarated, they emerged from the wreckage, the scars of their ordeal etched onto their souls. The world they emerged into, however, was different. Strange temporal distortions lingered, hinting at the conductor's lingering presence. Their journey was far from over. The conductor remained at large, and the temporal anomalies threatened to engulf the world. But now, armed with the knowledge gleaned from the loops, the strength forged in adversity, and the locket's mysterious power, they were no longer just passengers. They were warriors, determined to confront the shadows and break free from the cycle once and for all. The fight for freedom, however, had just begun. The temporal anomalies swirled around them, a chilling reminder of the unseen forces at play. What new challenges awaited them, and could they withstand the darkness yet to come? The answers, dear reader, lie in the chapters yet to be written. Chapter 6. Confronting the conductor. The air crackled with anticipation as Clara clutched the locket, its ethereal glow echoing the determination blazing in her eyes. Beside her, the boy stood resolute, his grief transformed into unwavering courage. They were ready to face the conductor, to shatter his twisted game, and finally break free from the shadows. Their steps echoed through the deserted platform, the silence amplifying the tension. The train, usually a looming specter, now stood dormant, its spectral hold seemingly weakened. As they approached, a figure emerged from the flickering gaslight, the conductor, his gaunt form radiating an otherworldly chill. "You shouldn't be here," he rasped, his voice laced with icy amusement. "This game was not meant for the likes of you." "The game ends now," Claire declared, her voice unwavering. "We know the truth about you, Matthias." The conductor's amusement faltered, replaced by a flicker of surprise. You dare speak his name?" Claire held the locket aloft, its glow intensifying. "We remember the tragedy. We remember your greed, your sacrifice of innocent lives." Conductor's form wavered, revealing glimpses of the man he once was. Matthias, the ambitious engineer, his ambition curdled into a thirst for power. He confessed his manipulation of the spectral energy, his twisted experiment to fuel his spectral engine, condemning countless souls to an eternity of suffering. The boy stepped forward, his voice filled with quiet fury. "You took my brother. You took them all." Matthias recoiled, a flicker of remorse flickering in his spectral eyes. I couldn't control it. The power, it consumed me." His confession ignited a storm of emotions: anger, sorrow, but also a sliver of understanding. Did Matthias deserve redemption? Could a monster so consumed by his actions ever be forgiven? The question was ripped from their thoughts as the conductor's form convulsed. From the shadows, tendrils of dark energy lashed out, fueled by the resentment of the trapped souls. The conductor, once their tormentor, was now trapped, consumed by the very darkness he unleashed. A fierce battle ensued. The locket's glow pulsed erratically, its power surging and waning. Clara and the boy fought tooth and nail, fueled by their desire for freedom and the memory of those lost. But the conductor, empowered by the shadows, seemed impossible to overcome. As their strength faltered, the boy lunged forward, channeling the pain and love for his brother into a blinding wave of spectral energy. It momentarily stunned the conductor, creating a fleeting opening. Claire, seizing the opportunity, poured every ounce of her remaining strength into the locket. With a blinding flash, the artifact shattered, releasing a wave of radiant energy. The shadows shrieked, recoiling from the light. The train, its spectral essence disrupted, began to disintegrate. But the victory came at a price. The boy, engulfed by the backlash of the shattering locket, vanished into the swirling energy. A scream ripped from Clara's throat, a mixture of anguish and despair. As the world dissolved around her, she clung to the boy's memory, his sacrifice igniting a new resolve within her. She emerged from the wreckage, alone but undeterred. The conductor was gone, the train reduced to smoldering embers. But the fight was far from over. The boy's absence left a gaping hole in her heart, a constant reminder of his sacrifice and the weight of responsibility it bestowed upon her. The locket's fragments pulsed faintly in her hand, hinting at a power she barely understood. The world around her, distorted by the remnants of the spectral energy, whispered of threats yet to be unveiled. Clara, forever marked by her journey, stepped into the uncertain future, the echoes of the boy's love and the weight of his sacrifice guiding her every step. She was no longer just a passenger, but a warrior forged in the fires of loss, determined to honor the fallen and fight the darkness that still lingered in the shadows. The final chapter of her journey had begun, and the fight for freedom, for redemption, for a world free from the conductor's twisted legacy awaited her at the end of the path. This fight, dear reader, will unfold in the stories yet to be written. Chapter 7. Breaking the Cycle. Claire clutched the pulsating fragments of the locket, their faint glow the only light in the desolate landscape where the train once stood. Grief gnawed at her, the boy's sacrifice echoing in the silence. Yet, amidst the sorrow, a spark of defiance flickered. He wouldn't have died in vain. Guided by his memory and the journal's cryptic clues, she delved deeper into the hidden workings of the spectral realm. The fragmented locket, though damaged, still held residual power, resonating with the lingering energy of the tragedy. Its whispers hinted at altering the past, breaking the cycle that bound them all. But tampering with the past was a dangerous gamble. Each attempt, the journal warned, could have unforeseen consequences, potentially condemning others to fates worse than their current torment. The first choice loomed large. They could try saving the woman in black, sacrificing her chance for redemption, but potentially altering the conductor's path. Or they could leave her fate unchanged, ensuring her peace, but leaving the cycle unbroken. Torn between compassion and pragmatism, Clara consulted the remaining passengers, haunted figures reliving their last moments on the train. Each shared their regrets, their unfulfilled dreams, adding to the weight of her decision. Finally, she decided. Trusting in the boy's spirit guiding her, she channeled the locket's power, altering a single memory of the woman in black, replacing her fear with courage during the accident. The ripple effect was immediate. The woman's spectral form shimmered, her expression serene before fading away, finally at peace. But the consequences unfolded swiftly. The conductor, his grip on the past weakened, unleashed a wave of spectral energy, throwing the train into chaos. Passengers vanished, their screams echoing through the corridors, replaced by new figures, victims from alternate timelines pulled into the fray. The cycle, it seemed, had become more complex, more unpredictable. Each alteration created new branches, new suffering. Despair threatened to consume Clara, but the boy's unwavering belief in her resonated within the locket's fragments. She wouldn't give up. This time, she focused on the engineer, the man consumed by guilt for his role in the tragedy. Using the locket, she subtly nudged him towards making a different decision on that fateful night, one that prioritized safety over speed. The effect was subtle but profound. The conductor's form flickered, his spectral grip loosening further. The trapped passengers began to fade, replaced by echoes of their lives before the tragedy. Hope, fragile yet tangible, bloomed in Clara's chest. However, the conductor, sensing his power waning, lashed out with renewed fury. The once desolate landscape transformed into a swirling vortex of darkness, threatening to engulf them all. The locket's fragments pulsed erratically, their power dwindling. In a desperate act, Clara poured every ounce of her remaining strength into the locket, shattering the remaining fragments. A blinding light erupted, momentarily banishing the shadows. The conductor screamed, his form dissolving into wisps of spectral energy. Silence descended, thick and heavy. The train, devoid of its spectral anchor, began to fade, the passengers' echoes dissipating with it. Was this freedom, or another twist of the cycle? As the light dimmed, Clara found herself standing alone on a familiar platform, the first rays of dawn painting the sky. No train, no passengers, just the faint hum of the real world returning. In her hand, a single locket fragment remained, pulsating faintly. Was it a reminder of what she had lost, or a promise of what she could still achieve? The answer, she knew, lay in the choices she made next. The cycle might be broken, but the echoes of the past lingered. The fight for true freedom, for a world untainted by the tragedy's shadow, had just begun. And Clara, forever marked by her journey, stood ready to face it. The boy's memory and the locket's fragmented power, her guiding lights. The journey may be over, dear reader, but the story isn't. For what lies beyond the familiar platform, and what choices await Clara in the world beyond the shadows, is a tale yet to be told. Chapter 8, Crossroads of Reality. The rhythmic clickety-clack of the wheels echoed through Clara's skull, a hypnotic counterpoint to the storm raging within her. The train, once a spectral prison, now pulsed with a strange energy, a beacon leading them towards a critical juncture, a point where reality could shift back to its normal course. But the path was fraught with peril. The conductor, though weakened, remained a spectral menace, his whispers echoing through the corridors, tempting them with false promises of freedom. Each passenger, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and fear, awaited Clara's decision, the weight of their collective fate resting on her shoulders. The test, the conductor's final gambit, materialized as a shimmering portal, a gateway leading back to the moment the tragedy unfolded. He offered a chilling proposition: return to that fateful night, alter a single decision, and rewrite their destinies. The temptation was agonizing. Could she, with the knowledge gleaned from their spectral journey, prevent the accident, save countless lives, and erase the pain that haunted them all? But the journal's warnings echoed in her mind. Altering the past could have devastating consequences, plunging them into an even darker reality. Torn between hope and fear, Clara delved into the memories of the passengers, reliving their final moments, their desperate pleas for a second chance. The woman in black, her eyes filled with regret. The engineer, consumed by guilt. The boy, his laughter silenced forever. Their pain became her own, fueling her resolve to find a way to break free without succumbing to the conductor's manipulation. As she stood before the portal, the conductor's voice dripped with honeyed promises. You can save them, Clara. You can set things right. But Clara saw through his deception. True freedom didn't lie in rewriting the past, but in accepting its lessons and forging a new path forward. With a newfound clarity, she turned away from the portal, her voice ringing with defiance. No, Matthias. We won't be your pawns anymore. We face our past, our pain, and emerge stronger. Her words sent shockwaves through the train. The passengers, emboldened by her stand, echoed her defiance. The conductor, his power waning, unleashed a final surge of spectral energy, the train lurching violently. The past and present blurred, memories and reality merging into a chaotic tapestry. Clara found herself pulled back to the night of the accident, reliving the terror in excruciating detail. But this time, she wasn't just a passenger. Armed with her knowledge, she screamed warnings, pleaded with the engineer, her voice a desperate counterpoint to the impending doom. The conductor, sensing her interference, materialized, his spectral form a monstrous embodiment of rage. He lunged at her, his touch promising oblivion. But before he could strike, the boy, his spectral form shimmering with newfound power, intercepted him. A blinding light erupted. The boy and the conductor locked in a final struggle. The train lurched, its spectral essence fracturing. The passengers, their eyes filled with gratitude and awe, began to fade, returning to their rightful places in the timeline. Clara felt herself pulled back, the world dissolving around her. The boy's smile, etched with love and sacrifice, was the last thing she saw before darkness consumed her. She awoke on the familiar platform, the first rays of dawn painting the sky. The train was gone, no passengers in sight. Was it real? Had she truly broken free? As she reached for the locket fragment, the only reminder of her journey, a faint warmth spread through her hand. It pulsed in sync with her heartbeat, a testament to the sacrifices made, the lessons learned. Clara knew her journey wasn't over. The echoes of the past still lingered, and the fight for true freedom had just begun. But now, she wasn't just a passenger on a spectral train. She was a warrior, forever marked by her experience, carrying the memory of the boy and the power of the fragmented locket as she stepped into the unknown. The final chapter of her story, dear reader, is yet to be written. Will she unravel the remaining threads of the tragedy? Will she face new challenges and emerge stronger? The answers lie within the choices she makes and the paths she chooses to follow. Chapter 9. Haunting Echoes. Claire emerged from the haze, the platform blindingly bright beneath the midday sun. Train was gone. The spectral passengers vanished, leaving behind an unsettling silence. In her hand, the locket fragment pulsed faintly, a chilling reminder of the journey she had traversed. Though free, the weight of escape pressed down on her. The boy's sacrifice echoed in her soul, a constant ache amidst the relief. Scars marked the other survivors too. The woman in black, a flicker of peace in her eyes, carried the burden of her changed fate. The engineer, haunted by his averted mistake, grappled with a newfound responsibility. As they pieced together their fragmented memories, the true picture of the tragedy unfolded. The conductor, Matthias, driven by greed and ambition, had tampered with the train's brakes, orchestrating the crash to claim insurance money. His guilt, however, twisted into a monstrous hunger for spectral energy, trapping the victims in an endless loop to fuel his power. The echoes of their suffering remained. Ghostly whispers lingered in the air, chilling reminders of their ordeal. Dreams were plagued by spectral encounters, and the faint scent of smoke clung to the platform, a phantom echo of the inferno. Yet, amidst the haunting echoes, there was solace. The woman in black had found redemption, the engineer a chance to atone, and Clara, forever marked by the boy's sacrifice, carried within her the courage to face the future. Train, its spectral hold broken, resumed its normal route. Passengers boarded, oblivious to the unseen battle fought within its steel frame. Some might even glimpse Clara, sitting on the platform, a silent guardian watching over the tracks. Her journey, however, was far from over. The locket fragment continued to pulse, hinting at lingering threads of the spectral realm. Whispers spoke of other tragedies, other trains, other conductors seeking to exploit human despair. Claire knew what she had to do. Armed with the lessons learned and the boy's unwavering spirit, she would become a silent sentinel, protector of the unsuspecting passengers, ready to confront the darkness wherever it manifested. The haunting echoes would never truly fade. But now, they weren't just reminders of loss, but testaments to survival, courage, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The survivors, forever bound by their shared experience, carried the memory of the spectral train like a badge of honor, a reminder that even in the darkest depths, hope and resilience could triumph. And so, the story of the spectral train concludes, dear reader. Yet, the echoes linger, whispers carried on the wind, reminding us that darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places and that courage and compassion are the keys to breaking free. As you go forth, remember the lessons of the passengers, the sacrifices made, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. For even in the face of haunting echoes, the power to choose your own path remains. Chapter 10. Whispers on the Wind. Months had passed since Clara stepped off the platform, leaving behind the spectral screams and the haunting echoes of the ghost train. Yet, normalcy felt like a borrowed cloak, ill-fitting and oddly distant. The bustling city streets hummed with life, but in Clara's ears, they resonated with whispers on the wind, echoes of the train's mournful whistle, and the passengers' chilling pleas. Sleep offered no solace. Dreamscapes morphed into spectral battlegrounds, the conductor's chilling laughter echoing through her subconscious. The locket fragment, tucked away in her pocket, pulsed faintly, a constant reminder of the weight she carried. Life had resumed its routine, But her perception had irrevocably shifted. The mundane held a newfound fragility. Every late-night train whistle sent shivers down her spine. Every flickering gas lamp sparked visions of spectral flames. Despite the lingering shadows, Clara clung to the lessons learned. The woman in black sacrifice taught her forgiveness, the engineer's atonement, the value of responsibility. The boy's unwavering courage became her guiding light, his memory a constant source of strength. She channeled her experiences into helping others. Volunteering at a hospice, she offered comfort to those nearing the end, her words imbued with an empathy born from witnessing the fragility of life. She wrote, pouring her story onto paper, hoping to warn others of the unseen dangers lurking in the shadows. But not everyone believed. Some dismissed her tales as figments of a traumatized mind. Others scoffed at the notion of spectral trains and haunted journeys. Yet, within these skeptics, Clara sensed a flicker of unease, a subconscious tremor echoing the whispers on the wind. Then, one night, the world shifted. A news report flashed across the screen, depicting a train derailment eerily similar to the one in her nightmares. Panic clawed at her throat, the whispers gaining a chilling resonance. Was it another conductor? Another spectral trap? Without hesitation, she packed her worn copy of the journal, the now tarnished locket fragment, and a worn backpack. Ignoring the concerned frowns and dismissive words, she boarded the next train, heading towards the site of the accident. The journey was uneventful, yet she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. As the train pulled into the station, a thick fog rolled in, obscuring the platform. The air turned icy, filled with the faint scent of smoke. A low whistle echoed in the distance, not from the arriving train, but from somewhere deeper in the shadows. Fear threatened to consume her, but her gaze fell on the locket fragment, the boy's memory whispering encouragement. Taking a deep breath, she stepped off the train, into the swirling fog, ready to face whatever spectral entity awaited her. The ending, dear reader, remains unwritten. Will Clara confront another conductor, or is this merely a figment of her haunted past? Will she silence the whispers on the wind, or will the ghost train continue to claim unsuspecting passengers, its echoes forever carried by those who have glimpsed its spectral terror? Only time, and perhaps another journey, will tell. But one thing is certain, the ghost train's legacy lives on, not just in Clara's haunted memory, but in the shadows it casts on the world. A chilling reminder that even in the familiar, darkness can lurk, waiting to ensnare the unwary. Remember, as you go forth, the unseen can be as real as the ground beneath your feet, and the whispers on the wind may hold more truth than you dare to believe.